Okay. Okay, again, okay, Assalamualaikum, a very good afternoon again. This is the second task. The first task just now is through observation, right? We have observed the system, we have started the system, when we know that aircon system is running. Right, now this is the second task, to know the condition of the system, inside the system. When we say inside the system, meaning to determine the pressure, the low side and the high side pressure of the system. Okay, the second task is to determine the pressure, but we don't start the engine. Without starting any engine, we will use the manifold gauge. This is the so-called manifold gauge, right? So you have understand about the basic principle of the manifold gauge. For this lesson, I'm not going to explain about this manifold gauge, but the most important thing is to understand. Okay, there are three main hoses here, right? The first is the blue side, the blue. Well, the blue represent the low side of the system, the high side of the system. Right, and the center one is the service hose, where you connect for services, where you connect to the refrigerant tank, you connect to the vacuum pump, right? So, for example, today we have manifold gauge that have been connected with a service valve, right? The blue service valve will be connected at the low side, and the red will be connected to the high side. Okay, the service valve. Right, a little bit of the service valve, right? So normally people will hang here and understand the system first, the manifold gauge first. Okay, now it has been connected directly for the service valve. So before you connect the service valve to the system, you have to backseat the service valve. When we say backseat, right, you observe carefully here. This is a service valve. When we say right, but it's written open. Right, when you write mean open, but if you anti-clockwise, the so-called backseat, meaning that okay, you are closing the system. What happened actually inside here? There's a plunger, right? When you turn to the right, the plunger will go to the front, and the plunger will press the plunger at the service valve, then open the flow of the pressure inside this line, right? So before you connect, make sure you backseat first. Meaning that the plunger is further in. Alright. The same thing goes to the low side. Okay. Back seat. Okay, you just check. Back seat. Okay, now it's back seat. The plunger is in. So if you front seat clockwise, the plunger will go further out, pushing the plunger at the service valve. So you have to determine where to connect this. Right. So now, first thing, before you connect to the system, make sure the service valve is in a back seat position or a closed position. Closed means off position. Alright, the second thing, make sure the valve here, okay, to the right. To the right means you are closing the line. Okay, now it's open. Okay, you line. Okay, this line in the center, we don't touch anything. Alright, so now this is closed, meaning that there's no flow from here to here and here to here. You are closing it. That is the first safety that you have to observe. Now, the third thing is to determine where is the location of the service valve. Right? Now, as just now, we already determined this is the service valve. Okay, buka ni. Okay, now this is the service valve. It's a little bit tightened, but it should be hand free, right? Right. So now I open the cover of the service valve. So don't get lost this service valve. To avoid the losing the closed valve, we don't put anywhere yet. It's better to put inside your pocket. Okay. You open the cover of the service valve, right? When open, anti-clockwise. With little bit tight. Okay, if you make it free, then you can open with your hand, right? Okay, put inside your pocket. Okay, then you are open, then okay, let's say you keep this one. Okay, now we already open. Okay, we already open the cover, but please observe. All right, this is the low side, the blue one. When the blue one cannot fix to the high side, right? Cannot. You try to put, cannot, right? So meaning that this is not the low side. So should be this one, right? So when trying to connect the service path to the system, right? What you do, you just press, make it enter first, right? Now, okay, let the position. Then what you do, you pull back this one, make it clip inside. Okay, a little bit hard here because of the space. So make sure it enters here. Then in order to enter here, you just pull this one. Okay, you press this one, then it will go in. You have a smaller hand. What you do, you take this one, put inside, then press at the back. Okay, then a click sound. Okay, slowly, take your time, man. Okay, there's a click sound. No. Okay, now. Okay. Here you can see, right? For example, here, right? Okay. Now you just put like something like this. This is a easier situation. But then you pull back this one. Okay. Then press on the top. Then release this one. Okay. When it's released, just okay. When it's connect, it won't pull out. Okay. Alright. There. Okay. Then just a click sound. Okay. So ensure that you can touch, push to the left or right slowly. Then try to take out. It's not connected. Okay. Right. Okay. For example, this one is already connected. Okay. You pull this one, you won't because of the position. Boleh? Masukkan dulu. Dia dah connect tu, tarik belakang. Okay. Boleh? Okay. One second. Okay. Okay, now I push this one. I try to pull this one. If this one come out, it already enter. Already enter. Okay, just to determine, you just try to pull out. No. Okay. Alright, don't worry. You just check nicely. When it fix, okay. Okay. Normally the low side is a little bit blunt. Then you just enter, click, then should be okay. But this high side, you see? Right. So when you are sure that it has been connected and this is in a closed position, then only you front seat. For example, I open, meaning I open the other open, meaning I front seat, meaning I push the plunger to the service bar, and then I push. When I front seat, okay, the pressure from the system will go inside this hose and goes to the. There's a reading here. Right, the same thing here. Okay, alright. Second thing, okay. When this one is okay, okay. Now you hold one hand, you front seat this one. Okay, front seat, meaning push the plunger inside, so the pressure will flow. Okay, front seat maximum, so the plunger will push. The pressure from the system will go to the hose. Now you can see the reading. Now observe carefully the reading now. Okay, observe carefully the reading now. We have a reading inside the system. Okay, pressure from the system will go here. Pressure from the low side will go here. So if you look at the outside, okay, outside measurement of the reading here, it is in PSIG. Pound per square inch. Inch Hg mean inch of mercury. So here, if you look at the reading here is 85, right? 85, right? The outside one is 85. Okay. Now this one, okay. Now the scale is bigger. The maximum is 500. The maximum is 120 only, because this is low side, this is high side. Okay, this is the maximum is 500 PSIG. This is 120 PSIG. Now the reading here is about 85 PSIG, pound per square inch gauge. This here is what is the reading here? This is 50. This is 100, right?
60, 80, 70.
About 70 something. 70?
70.
Huh?
75.
About 70, 75 lah. We can say 75. Okay, so this is 75 PSIG because it is increasing here, right? Here is 85. So this is 75. Okay, we take as 75 high side, low side is 85. So what is the difference between the low and the high side? The system is not running now. The pressure between the low and the high side, what is the difference? Perbezaan. Right, here is 85, here is 75. So there's a difference of 85 minus 75? 10. 10. So the difference between the low side and the high side is 10. Right? Okay. What can I say? When there's a difference, right? It should be close difference between the low and the high side because the system is off. The compressor is not running. It should be balanced between the low and the high side. Okay, one clue, right? When the difference between the low and the high side is less than 20 PSIG. When the difference of the pressure of the low and the high side is less than 20 PSIG. Understand? Below 20 PSIG, meaning the system is stable. Stable, we can make early conclusion that the system, there's a difference of pressure between the low and the side, but it's below 20. Meaning the system is stable and it shouldn't be any blockage in the system. But for example, let's say the low side is 85 just now, the high side is 120. What is the difference?
100 what?
120 and 85.
35.
So the difference is 35, meaning exceed 20 PSIG. Something wrong inside the system. Something is blocking the system. So again, I repeat that if there's a difference, the difference between the low and the high side is less than 20 PSIG, meaning the system is stable, we can conclude that there's no blockage in the system. Right? But we don't know what is the amount of the refrigerant, but the first conclusion that you can make, the system is stable, alright, between the low and the high side. But whether it have a leakage, enough refrigerant, that is will be the second stage. Okay, and then for this system, the difference is only 10, then should be okay, stable, and they have a pressure inside, meaning that when there's a pressure inside, the difference is below 20. Meaning there is a refrigerant in the system is stable, no blockage on the system. Okay, that is the second part. Okay, the third part, we will start the engine back. We start the engine when we observe the pressure at the hoses. Then we can know whether it is adequate or enough refrigerant or not. Alright, for a car, right? The key to understand the amount of refrigerant through pressure. Basically, for a car, SUV or big car like this, it's around 30 to 35 PSIG, the low side, right? In average. Right? For this is a 3 liter engine, diesel, is around 30 to 35, the low side, when it's running, when the aircon system is running. So the high side, the lower will be the better lah. So right, the high side shouldn't be exceed 250. Okay. Don't exceed 250. Okay, if when he exceed, meaning it's a little bit high, but don't ever let exceed 300. Okay, don't exceed 300. So the lower the better. The low side it can range, but normally a standard low side or a system is about 100, 150, below 200. If above 200, it's not normal. Something blocking the system, something blocking the airflow of the condenser. But this represent the condenser. and the blower here, if the pressure is high. Okay. Also that, okay, for the second thing is just now is to determine how is the pressure inside the system. As I told you just now, the first thing when you connect the system, right, make sure the manifold gauge are in a closed position, right? And this is, don't close, this is back seat. So when you connect, make sure it sits properly, then only your front seat. When you front seat, the pressure will go to the hose and you can have the reading. When you have a reading, you try to look the difference between the low and the high side. If below 20, meaning there's stable, the system inside the system is stable. Okay, there's no blockage inside the system, right? Okay, that is the second part. Okay, stop the video.